discussed it last week. Dele Alli didn't play well. I mean, he's meant to be a great player, and even by his own standards, he's got to be thinking he's barely a championship player at the moment.
What has Tottenham done to you in the past? I don't understand why you've got so much hatred towards Spurs. We're a nothing club. Dele Alli should be a championship player.
Chelsea's got a fantastic squad, and yet, was it yesterday they put only 6 players on the bench and 2 goalkeepers. So as far as I'm concerned, they're not going to get much sympathy from me because they can call up some use to make up the numbers. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you haven't got enough doctors in the hospital, they don't close the hospital.
Obviously, every manager does have this
Every
manager does have this.
No, why are you trying to put them?
Martins. Gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Grassroot Chats, episode 19. Welcome to the Grassroot Studios. In the studio today, we have, Mr. Chris Waddle himself, Neil. And then we have the wonderful man, Mr. Thanos DJ from the North Side. And today, surprise, surprise, after what it seems like was a wonderful weekend for the white side of North London, joined by Karim. He's somewhere we have no idea, but he's somewhere, as you can tell, different from the studio. And of course, always happy, the angry one, Mr. Mike N. Well, people, let us begin. And let us begin with what people have classed as possibly the best game of the season so far, Tottenham versus Liverpool. I'm going to start with a very simple, controversial question, man. I'm going to start that question with my good friend, the angry one. Please, what is Conte doing that is different from Mourinho and Nuno?
He's told Harry Kane to stay in the box as a striker so he can score goals. And he's made them press a little bit. That's about it, really.
So no difference between Nuno and Mourinho and Conte?
I'm being a bit. I mean, they do look a bit more compact defensively. But I wouldn't say he's done massive amounts, but you get that result, and then everyone says, "Oh, Conte is the best thing since sliced bread."
And this was a draw, so you can imagine if they go a win.
But they should have won, really.
Should they? But we'll get.
Oh man, Harry Kane had about 500 chances.
500. But personally, I would say 600. I mean, Karim wasn't here last week, and Neil said, Tottenham was a Northern club. He said Tottenham was a Northern club, and that he doesn't really see anything wonderful. Neil, would you say that Tottenham's wonderful rest since their COVID outbreak has actually done better for the team? Conte has had time to blend the team, and looking at how they played against Liverpool, are they looking like top 4 contenders?
I mean, it seems like they had a massive break, right? I don't think anyone else in the Prem's had a Christmas break, pre-Christmas. That's done them. That's rejuvenated that squad entirely. I mean, I don't know if Kane didn't want to be there or he was out on his feet after having good Euros. So yeah, good efforts though from them. A few of them, a bit more than the week before. I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. That Conte's done some magic with the squad there. I think that they played well for a game against Liverpool, which if you're not going to be up for, you're going to get absolutely killed anyway in that game. Missed way too many one-on-ones. Ali, Son, Kane, all missed. Even Ederson had a crap game in goal, right? Hardly went out, putting everyone going, oh, he was a good keeper. He flapped a few times. I thought Liverpool were really, really poor. They were missing.
And they were short as well. Short players.
Yeah, and I think. I don't think Conte's not done a good job. I think he has got them pressing. He's got Kane sitting a little bit further forward, but Son was there to counter-attack all game. And I think that was kind of the key thing from their point of view. Use the pace, right? Which they hadn't been using before. It made sense. I think Conte definitely was better than Santos.
Who's Santos?
Nuno Santos, whatever his...
Come on,
Nuno Espirito Santos.
Well, why you don't remember his name? Neil, sorry, Mr. Thanos, you as a man that likes to look at different things, different perspectives. I mean, Karim, I know Karim is itching to say stuff, but don't worry, we'll get to you. How did you start them yesterday? And considering the fact that they now have 3 games in hand and they played possibly one of the title contenders, and they look really good. Is this a sign of good things to come?
They played well. But it seems like Conte's had a bit of fortune as what he had with Chelsea, where he stumbled upon, they got battered at Arsenal and they stumbled upon a 4-3-3 formation that took them. No, sorry, three at the back, and they took them. David Luiz in the centre of three, and yesterday their midfield was dictated to them by absentees in Højbjerg and what's that other dude's name? Skip,
Yep.
or whatever it is. Yeah. So he had to play Ndombele, Winks, and Dele Alli, and it seemed to work and stuff. So I think that made a big difference. If they went into that midfield, if they went into that game with a midfield of Højbjerg and Skip, I think the result might have been different, even though Liverpool were severely undermanned in the midfield, missing Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Van Dijk at the back. Liverpool were a shadow of themselves. So,
well, it's all good. Karim, with everybody. So Mike says, Harry Kane seems like he's staying a bit more in the box. Neil says Liverpool were poor. Mr. Thanos is, well, they had a bit of fortune. What do you say, man? How did your team impress you yesterday? Because you seem like you had won the league at some point.
I can take points from everyone, but being from a Spurs point of view, seeing the progress that Conte's actually come in, changed the whole regime with regards to the training, getting everyone's diet tip top. You can definitely see that we're running about more, we're covering more distances when we're playing. They're closing down the balls and the first touches rather than sitting back and soaking up the pressure. Yes, Mr. Thanos made some great points with regards to having not the strongest midfield that we would have liked, as in Højbjerg would have probably kept things a bit more tighter. But again, what a great ball from Dembele and his vision to see Harry Kane score his first goal since
it only took you 5 minutes into the show to mention your favorite player, Dembele. But it's all good. It's all good. I thought it'd take you a bit.
But yeah. We are still got loads of work to do, obviously. Obviously January's around the corner now, which I'm sure every Spurs fan is looking forward to see how Conte, Levy all come together and get the budget that they want, so they can start bringing in some players and telling them who the players that he wants out. But again, pleased with the boys' performance yesterday. We've done well, and hopefully this gives them the confidence that's needed to move forward and play well. We've got the Carabao Cup on Wednesday, which I'm going to, so hopefully Wednesday we can play against West Ham.
Well, we shall see. Mike, is this the return of Dele Alli? I mean, is that so? It means Conte's diet is really working. Is this the return of Dele Alli? Is he looking like the player he was before? Is this just one game already? So let's not start getting excited.
It's not one game. It was a half. He wasn't that dynamic in the second half. Let's calm down, guys. Yeah, Tottenham had a good game. They should have won that game really with the chances they had. At the same time, though, Harry Kane should have got sent off because for that mad, I don't know what that was, lunge, slide, tackle, fly kick thing he did. So it's, all in all, take the point, which was unexpected. But let's not say that Ali or anybody really is rejuvenated. You can't even say Kane's rejuvenated because the amount of chances he missed, that he had 6 chances and he scored 1. That's a poor return for anybody letting on Harry Kane. So it's a good result. That's what we can take from that at the moment. I don't think we should read anything else into it, because other teams that they play won't play on the front foot as much as Liverpool were. So all of that counter-attacking business that they were doing may not work. So let's see. We've got 3 games in hand. Let's see if they can break into the top 4.
Well, 3 games in hand. Harry Kane missing 7 chances. Neil, should Harry Kane have been on the pitch?
To start off with, he was never going to get dropped, but that tackle, man. To me, it wasn't the fact that he wasn't sent off from it, because it definitely looked like he should have been. It was more of the incident where, the Liverpool player got sent off afterwards when VAR asked, the ref to go and have a look at it. It was just screaming out, like, if you're unsure of it, just get the ref just to double check, right? The VAR is meant to be helping the ref out to make the correct decisions. It was the wrong decision. It was completely the wrong decision. His foot was off the ground. If he hadn't jumped, Robertson would have been in some serious trouble at that particular point. Kane doesn't have the pace to go in like a steamroller anyway. He's not exactly the quickest of players. So there was talk about the impact and the pace wasn't there. But yeah, he wasn't in control of that foot, and I don't think anyone would have been surprised if he'd been sent off, like even Kane himself.
First of all, I don't think we should blame VAR. Of course, you can blame people that use the VAR. So one of the things that was said was that maybe why Kane got away with that is because they said his foot wasn't too high. and that whoever had looked at it on VAR probably have gone, oh, his leg wasn't that off the ground. Steve, what do you think? Straight red, or was yellow okay?
Straight red. Dangerous play. It's just the fact that Robertson jumped out the way. But if Robertson's leg was there, it would have snapped.
In fact, the only reason why he jumped out of the way is because Hurricane's so damn slow that Robertson's film coming a mile away. That's why. It's like a rhino charging you.
If you look at his leg, it's at his foot. It's above the. It would be above the height of the ball if it was there. So it's just dangerous play, out of control. He probably got grace because he's England captain or some nonsense like that. But yeah, it's a red card. You know what I mean? There's no way to think about it. At the end of the VAR, the person looking at it just needs to call the referee and say, "Go and have a look. Think again, mate, because he should be off." There's no. And then Harry Kane to say afterwards, "Oh, he thought it was a strong tackle." That's even worse.
He didn't even get the ball.
Well, first of all, he did say he thought it was a strong tackle. He also said that Robertson told him, "Nah, it was all right. That you didn't even touch me." Karim, what do you say? Was he not sent off because he's England captain, or do you think it was a fair tackle?
It wasn't a fair tackle. Looking back at it, when they slowed it down, it did look very like dangerous play, and I agree it should have been a red card, especially if you're giving Robertson just like a red card that he got. It's only right, really.
Is it? Do you think it was a bit more dangerous because they slowed it down? But I'm sure when it happened at first, you were like, "Nah, this is fine."
Yeah, it looked like a very strong tackle. Looked like he was committed. Looked like he was going strong in for it. It didn't look as high as it did when it first went in. But once you've seen it slowed down and they showed it several times on Sky, then it did look like he is likely to still be on the pitch with that.
Well, at some point I was watching that game and I kept looking at Dele Alli because I was surprised. He seemed like he really wanted to play this game, but then he was blowing. You could tell that this is tough. Do you see them, Mike? Do you see them actually keeping this high press and counter-attacking football from now to the rest of the season? Or once again, them having some sort of break was a blessing in disguise?
No, they're gonna try and keep it. That's how Conte plays. So, I mean, they're quite fresh because they've had 2 weeks off or so. So, regardless of whether they're fresh or not, they're going to be doing double training sessions as Karim was talking about, all that sort of stuff, and that's the way they want to play. And I mean that style of play will get them more successes than failures, I would imagine, for the rest of the season. So they'll keep to it.
Well, Neil, you mentioned that Liverpool was poor. So are you saying Liverpool was poor? That's why Tottenham looked good, or Tottenham was actually good? And then the question here is, most teams that play with this high press counter-attacking football, when they actually play teams that they have to hold the ball, they usually struggle. Do you think Tottenham will have that issue?
I think there's a new manager syndrome there at the moment as well. Let's not forget, Conte's only just come in. He's got a few problems there. There's definitely a need to clear out. I think we discussed it last week. There's Dele Alli didn't play well. I mean, he's meant to be a great player, and even by his own standards, he's got to be thinking he's barely a championship player at the moment. I think there's a few players that need to be gone. I think Son's a great player, right? I think he was good. Hugo Lloris played well. He's a decent keeper. Kane, if he performs well, is really, really good. Will they keep up? They've got to get some fitness in. I'm not sure what they did for the last 6 months or since Mourinho went, that it seems to have gone downhill. And Conte isn't a guy that minces his words either, though. That's the problem. He's going to be getting rid of these people.
What has Tottenham done to you in the past? I don't understand why you've got so much hatred towards Spurs. We're a nothing club. Dele Alli should be a championship player.
He is though, isn't it? He is. Come on, he is.
Did we knock you out of a cup 3 years ago, which you felt was a bit harsh?
It would have been a long time ago if we'd ever played you in a cup. I'm more annoyed with the other two lads being, 92 and 93 League Cup and FA Cup finals, respectively. Spurs have done nothing to anyone really, and especially nothing to me. I think that they're a team that need a clear out, and that's what Mourinho was trying to do, get his own players in that would listen. I think Conte's going to have the same issue with those players that don't listen, because he's a hard manager. He isn't one of these guys that goes, "Oh, come to my office and we'll have a little chat about it." He's not like that.
Yeah. Well, you say that, and people are talking about Conte being a very strong man. He doesn't take any nonsense, yada, 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 and he's going to have a clear out. But if he's already playing okay and playing well with the so-called team that needs a clear out, Steve, why do they need a clear out? Then surely they'll just need to add a bit more players to what they have now.
Some of those players have been there too long.
For example,
change the scenery, because they won't change into a high pressing team with the personnel they got. You're not going to do that in a couple of months. That is drilled into teams over months and months and months. He's not going to come in and all of a sudden flip it around. Probably the only one that can probably play that game is Son, because that's his natural game, running around after people. Yeah, pressing people. You're not just going to change Harry Kane into a forward that just presses the whole
Bergwijn.
90 minutes.
No. Bergwijn. What's his name?
No. I don't think any of the top squads.
Lucas Moura is another one.
Say that they're not good players there, but I just think some of them have been there too long. So you have to just clear it all out and kind of like get a new base and start.
Nah, they can do it.
So let me ask a question. I'll ask everybody. Steve, did you think Dele Alli played well yesterday? Yes or no? Just let's start.
It's okay.
Okay. Mike?
Barely a championship player. You feel it right?
Did he play well?
Right, man. Championship level, isn't it?
Okay, no. Okay, Steve, on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'd say it's a 6.
Mike?
Yeah, 6. Yeah, it was right. Like,
Karim?
He said he wasn't fighter.
I would give him a 6. I don't think he had the best game. I feel like he is definitely at a 6. It shows how bad he was in previous games. He definitely showed signs of that he could be on the way back, but compared to what we are used to seeing him, 6 is just
Neil?
mediocre, really.
I mean, I think Karim's right. Like, he used to be a top player, but he's nowhere near those standards. And I don't think that he has the attitude to get back to those standards. He's failing under, and he gets the chances with every manager. I'm not sure. There's something in there that says to me that he doesn't have it. And I maybe a 5. I mean,
that's
by his standards, it's a 3, but
that's how I think it's a new club. That's how I think it's a new club for him, because he's been there under different managers and had the same outcome. So it's like a completely new surroundings for him.
Maybe guys,
he can recover himself.
Guys, maybe he's just whack. Maybe he is actually a championship
No,
player.
he's not whack.
No, because
let's give it to him. He's not whack.
Hold on. He had a good couple of seasons under Poch, was it? Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Since then, he's had 2 managers, and he somehow lost his form. What?
When Jose was there, the West Ham game, for example, played outstanding. I think the game after that as well, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Everton or something like that. He had a great game as well. So he showed
to be a great player.
So
it just shows he had still got it in his bag and still got it in his bag. But it's just a consistency. Whether that's him lack of hunger, as he may need a new club, or he just might need a new challenge.
But that's the point, though, isn't it? The point, how you become a great player is consistency. If you just have if you flash pan one good game in 5, you're not a great player.
Okay, so the 2-3 seasons which he was a great player and he did play good,
but he's older now.
Does not show signs of a great player.
But you don't lose that, do you? You can't. How do you lose that?
So that's me like saying
that people get older and
they become shit.
Yeah, that happens. That's generally
how
life works.
So
we're all gonna get older.
Aubameyang, is he not a great player?
He was a great player.
So he's not anymore.
No, he's not. That's why he's playing with the kids. Was that above? Because I hate him more than you.
No. Because I'm just trying to understand your logic of if you're a great player or what.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying these two always miss each other when they haven't seen each other.
So what? So wait. So if he does something 5 years ago,
Mike, can we will get back to this. We'll get back to this.
No, hold on. I used to be able to dunk, right? I used to be able to dunk once upon a time. I can't dunk now. What? So then will you then say to you, oh, Mike used to dunk, so he's still a great player? No, I'm not. I'm shit now.
No. You can still be a player. Wait. You can still be a great player, but just take dunking out of your game and use other aspects of your skills.
But he's not doing that, though, is he?
Be a great player.
He's not doing that, though, is he?
Okay, so moving on to that wonderful game.
Because you're saying he's whack. That's my problem. He's not whack.
Okay, he's whack addition.
He's just not showing the potential that he was at.
Hello.
Sorry, JJ. Before we move on to the other game and the other.
No, we're not moving on to another game. It's a simple question. Sticking to the Tottenham Liverpool game. So this is my thought process, and this is because I'm the host here. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but I'll start with Karim. Was Robertson's tackle a red card? Really?
No, it wasn't. Not at all. It depends how you look at it. I need to look at the rule book. If you deliberately want to go in and kick a player, which he deliberately done.
No, come on, you're going for the ball.
He did. Like if you look at it, you can definitely see that he deliberately wanted to kick Royale. Definitely. Like there's no denying that he wanted to kick him and probably letting him know that I'm still there. I'm still not going
Thank you very much. I can agree that he wanted to say, okay, you know what, I want to stamp some sort of authority. But if you look at this well, so he's coming to try and kick the ball, and then Emerson Royale checks and puts his leg in there. Now, I'm not saying it's not a foul. I'm not saying it wasn't one of them tackles, but a red card. Steve?
He kicked his standing leg. Over the top violent play. He's kicked his standing leg with a lot of force. It's a red card.
If the referee deemed it as violent conduct, then it's a red. But to me, I would have, if it was given a yellow, then fair enough. But yeah, if the referee has to deem it as violent conduct, and he was actually just going to hurt the player.
Yeah, no chance of getting the ball like that.
To me,
he didn't. And if you're intentionally going to kick a player, it's a red card. No denying that, really.
What do you think, Neil?
He's 70 yards from his own goal, right? There's only one thing that he's looking to do there, and it's you don't tackle like that from 70 yards from your goal. There's no point. So at first, I did think and I think the ref was exactly the same like he was with the Kane. It looked like he was strong and forceful. When you see the replays, and you're like, you ain't getting anywhere near that ball, son. And he did, and he just kicked him. And it's definitely it's a red. There's whether he means malice or not, he's just been petulant and kicked out too hard. And 70 yards from goal, that's just poor from any footballer. That you don't need. The same with Kane. Like, they're too far from goal to be doing those type of two things, to be getting booking or reds. It's pointless.
But if we're sticking with all those wonderful incidents in the game, Diego Jota, tackle on Diego Jota in the 18 when he goes down. Penalty.
Not a penalty. No penalty whatsoever.
Penalty whatsoever. Okay, let me ask a question.
They
didn't get the ball, right? The guy just ran over and barged him to the floor.
But if you look,
no
Jota slows down because he knew exactly what he's doing.
Okay, but that's a separate issue. Whether he slowed down or not, okay, we can agree.
But why? If you're looking for a penalty.
Okay, no, I'm not saying that. But that's allowed in the game. But then if you then push but if you push me over in the box and don't get the ball, that's a foul in the box, which is a penalty.
Well, first things first.
Not saying that that's not a cheap penalty. Fine. Not to say they look for it, fine, but it's by the rules of the law.
If you got to be consistent, and I think that's where the referee made.
He pushed him over.
If you're gonna be consistent and give them cool penalties in every single game, you're gonna see a lot of strikers doing exactly the same thing, shielding the ball like they would do, like they want to go out for a corner or a throw-in, and then slow down and then. How many times have we seen that in the Premiership and it's not been given?
Karim, when you're talking about consistency so the one thing I tell people is, or I try to tell us, you can't look at last week's incident and decide that's going to affect this week's incident. So when you're talking about refs being consistent,
exactly, they can't, and they can't do that.
The ref has to be consistent in the game. However, I listened to Klopp, and Klopp says he asked the ref, "Why didn't you give Jota a penalty?" And the ref's explanation was, he feels that Jota stopped because he wanted a penalty. But Klopp's question was, you have to stop to take a shot. You're not going to run and take a shot at the same time. So nobody's going to run and take a shot at the same time.
Wait. So hold on. So are we saying then that you can't stand in the box and shield the ball? Because if you do, you can get fouled. It's okay for you to just come and foul you.
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that. Don't try and defend the referee getting to his conclusion. He made a mistake and he's come up with a weak excuse to justify a bad decision.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And saying that the guy stopped. Forwards leave their leg dangling to catch a penalty. It's tricks of the trade, yeah. So at the end of the day, he can't say because he stopped, he felt he stopped. That's why he didn't give the penalty.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I know that's what he said. So he's trying to use a poor excuse to defend a poor decision. That's what it is. At the end of the day, the player pushed Jota over, nowhere near the ball, inside the box. Foul.
So this is what I want to
What I'm going to say is, if you look at Mo Salah and you look at Harry Kane, you will see
they both
they're
do
in
it.
that position. They always do it. If they're at an angle where they can't really get the goal, or they've been pushed further to right or to left, they shield the ball in the box, hoping for an individual defender or midfielder to make a serious tackle on them. There's been loads of times when they may have been pushed over because that's the case of the ball, and it's not been given. So
Yeah,
to
but
me,
you
I
can't
think
push
the
me
referee.
over because you can't push me over in the box and not attempt to play the
But if
ball.
I'm like,
It's a foul, isn't it? Surely.
ball is a contact sport, right?
Okay, if that happens anywhere else in the pitch, is it a foul?
Yeah, I would understand if it was a harsh push. It was not.
Oh, so a light push is all right.
Well,
in the
okay.
box.
Neil, what do you think?
I mean, well, we won't tell you the VAR was brought in to help refs, and he's made 3 decisions in that game wrong. He's booked 2 players and not given a penalty. They all should have been reviewed correctly, and there should have been a penalty, and it should have been 2 red cards. What I'm trying to say is he gets help. So the ref has had a stinker, but he's not been helped by the guy who's reffing at the VAR office, and
but
they should be helping him.
What you need to remember is that VAR will only overturn a decision if it is factual.
It's clear and obvious he's been pushed in the back. Like this, that's factual that he's been pushed.
Even here, we can't even agree. That's not clear and obvious.
There's only one person who's a Spurs fan that
yeah.
it's not pushing it. But even Kareem would agree, he got pushed in the back, right? If my striker's going and he's going for that ball, I'm wanting a penalty every day of the week because he's in the box, he's been pushed over. Whether he's slowing down or going full pace, he's still going to get hit. His prerogative is I'm shielding the ball and I'm going to have a shot on my terms because I'm the striker, not when a defender wants me to or the goalie. And I think the refs are supposed to be helped out. I'm not saying that if they'd even reviewed it and gone, we've reviewed it and it's no penalty, I would 100% been brilliant. That's fine if actually had a look, but he didn't even look. And that's kind of what annoys me more than anything else because everyone else thought it was a penalty. I'm not against Spurs, but that was a pen, man. Nah, I don't mind Spurs. Yeah.
I don't have a club anyway. So why would you be against them?
That's why I'm not against them, right? And none of them are threats to my team, so it's fine.
All right.
Sorry, let me ask you a question. So gents, so we get this clear, so I can understand everyone's point of view. If you get pushed over in the box, it's always going to pay a penalty. Is that the case? What we're saying here?
If you've got the ball,
making contact with the ball, yeah.
If a striker gets pushed over in the box and the defender doesn't make any contact with the ball, they're running high risk of conceding the penalty. Just look at Jamie Vardy, Harry Kane, Mo Salah. A lot of that stuff they do in the regular basis. They get, and sometimes it's gone the other way for them because referees kind of look for them to do that.
Yeah.
So as soon as they get contact, they will go.
Your point is he's looking for a penalty.
Yes.
But okay, that's fine. No one's even disagreeing with that. But just because I'm looking for a penalty doesn't mean that you can foul me. So, oh well, you look at it anyway.
And I think Kareem, you've got a good point. There's a lot of times where the striker's gone in for it. He's put his leg in order to get in front of the defender, in order to get that. I don't think that incident was that. I think he was going a little bit away from the goal as well. And he knows he wasn't going to score, right? Because he was never going to score from where he was at. But I don't know why the fullback's even making that. It's a poor decision by the fullback. Fortunately, got away from it. And I think VAR needs to have a look at each situation where they feel it's going to be tightly contested. Because I think there was a corner in the game as well where it went out and he was miles offside. And I'm like, all right, that's clear and obvious that that's a call, that he was miles offside and you've given a corner. Like that, and I get we don't want to ruin the game, and VAR is much better now than it used to be. But there's kind of like I would rather an offside by 3 or 4 inches was fine. But when these clear and obvious issues are happening, they need to be, it's a scapegoat to hide behind it of who has made the mistake, because everyone here thinks it was 2 red cards. And, most of us think it was a penalty.
All right. Well, what's going to happen now is that the VAR will employ, some of us apart from Kareem. Kareem will probably get drinks and tea or something because he might.
He'll turn around and say Robinson's goal should have stood as well after hitting Salah's arm.
Ooh.
According to the rule book, it does, because the goal didn't come directly from Salah hitting.
Oh my God! Right.
No, seriously,
they changed it, didn't they? After the Spurs,
they did change it. They did. But I still think
if Salah did score, if the ball hit Salah's arm and Salah scored, then it's a handball. Yeah, but as it hit his arm and then play progressed, it's not included. It's not.
He wasn't a deliberate handballer, was it? He wasn't going for the hand.
It wasn't, and that's probably where.
But shouldn't the question be this? So we keep saying if the ball hit Salah's hand and they scored, The point is, the ball hit Salah's arm, and they scored in less than 2 minutes after that.
Yeah, but they cleared it, didn't they?
Yeah, but the way they changed the rule book is that they didn't directly benefit. The goal didn't come directly from the handball. A bit like Callum Wilson last season, where he was running and hit his arm, and it went in. They're saying in that instance that's a handball, But in the game yesterday, the goal didn't come directly from the handball.
All right. Well, moving on for another game, even though we'll end up staying here forever. And, well, we're going to move on to more wonderful decisions. So, of course, Man City have had a wonderful season. Kevin De Bruyne is looking wonderful and all fit. Looks like he's back to himself. Cancelo looks like he's becoming more... I mean, he looks like he can play any position other than defense. He can play in the middle. So we were expecting... I was expecting that City would win at Newcastle. However... Ederson's tackle on Ryan Fraser. Since we're concentrating a lot on a lot of refereeing decisions, Ederson's tackle. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, there was no way Fraser was going to get the ball." The defender had already taken the ball. Question is simple. I'll start with you, Mike. Was that a penalty or not?
No, he didn't have control of the ball.
So it wasn't a penalty. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So what happens is that's come out. It's a poor and clumsy challenge, to be fair. But what
else on the pitch would have been a foul?
So if you tackle me and then after that Neil comes and cleans you out, that's your problem, isn't it? The ball's already gone. It's no penalty.
Would that be given as a foul or not? Because I remember you just said anywhere else on the pitch for Jota that would have been.
I don't think with keepers there's special dispensation.
See, Steve is so happy, like, oh, Stan is like, oh my god, keeper. Karim, what do you think?
He was quite next to the defender, though, wasn't he? If I can remember.
Come on,
he didn't have control. He didn't have control of the ball. He didn't have control of the ball now.
So you don't think it was a penalty?
No.
Oh, Steve, Thanos, sorry.
No penalty because Cancelo was in full control of the ball, and if that happens elsewhere on the pitch, I don't even think it's a foul because the ball's gone. There's another player that's in control of it, moving away. Yeah, I don't think it's a foul elsewhere on the pitch, so I don't think it's a penalty.
Neil, you look like you're about to pull yourself because you looks like you're now Karim. Everybody else thinks it's a penalty.
He took the player out, regardless if he had the ball or not. You can't take a player out on the pitch and not expect him to give a foul away. He's gone through and he's followed through on the player with his body. He's clumsy as heck. And that isn't, again, a really poor decision from him. For me, it's a penalty. He can't be doing it. He's got to be wiser than that. And if we're saying Cancelo's got the ball, that makes it even worse, right? That means he's just completely taken the player out and he's not needed in that situation at all. What's Fraser going to do? Like, if that's anywhere else, and I don't know, Maguire kicks somebody up and 30 yards from goal, it's still a foul, even if he's not got the ball, right? If he elbows somebody off the ball, it's still a foul.
No way. Bring it. Sometimes they let play go on, and then after they come and give the guy yellow later on.
Yeah, well, that's only if they've got possession and they're going to be continuing. But other than that, for me, I think poor keeping, poor judgment, and it was a pen. Like it might have been a bit soft, but Newcastle could do with the goals anyway. I don't think it would have destroyed them, would it?
At this point in the VAR office, Karim, please give Neil the teas and coffee, and then you can now sit down.
Did VAR review it?
No, I don't think they did.
Because it wasn't clear and obvious. That's why.
Well,
the ref saw it and went, "Nah, he's all right. He can take him out as much as he wants." You're like, all right.
Well, I think we're pretty much almost all in agreement, apart from Neil. I personally think, I think it was a penalty. The same way I think Jota's was a penalty, but what do I know? I don't see that anywhere near VAR. And then, what is this story about Chelsea trying to postpone their game against Wolves yesterday? Something about not having enough players. And when you look at the squad Chelsea has, and
whoa. First of all, they're how good their squad is shouldn't be an indictment of them having a game on. You've got 25 world-class players, so you could be without, 10? That's still unfair on them, right? They're penalised because they've got a good squad. They had 7 players that were COVID-related missing from that team. Anyone else would have had that game called off, right? That was unfair, and they were penalised for having.
But what's the rule, though? What's the minimum amount of players you can?
There isn't one, is there?
Yeah,
That's what
there's no
Arteta
rule at the
moaned about.
moment.
I don't understand. Yeah, the Premier League need to issue what the rules are around when they cancel a game or postpone a game due to COVID-related illnesses in the squad. How many players on what staff? Because then it's pretty clear. If it means that 25% of your squad is not available due to COVID, the game can be postponed. Then fair enough. Everyone makes, you know what I mean? Everyone can then see it clearly and obvious. Because, yeah, Chelsea's got a fantastic squad. And yet, was it yesterday they put only 6 players on the bench and 2 goalkeepers. So as far as I'm concerned, they're not going to get much sympathy from me because they can call up some use to make up the numbers. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you haven't got enough doctors in the hospital, they don't close the hospital. Yeah, we carry on.
Sit outside and wait, but they can't propose for other games. That's the problem, right? The other games were postponed for less. I mean, Spurs have just had 2 months in the sun.
The thing is, it's lack of leadership in it from the Premier League because the Premier League could have just cancelled the whole weekend, which some managers are asking for. So they're making a mockery of it because
no. That
situation
result still stands. No.
You're getting the situation where like Tottenham are now 3 games behind everyone else, and then you're going to have to read pictures and stuff.
To be fair, with Tottenham, there was an outbreak and they had 13 players test positive, and there was an outbreak in the training, the training facility. So there's a possibility a whole lot of other people being affected. Now, why I disagree with Neil in terms of the laws is that Leeds also have how many players out? They had injury and all that. They could use we have COVID situation. But Chelsea have. Are you saying that the decision, or let's use Karim? Do you think the decision went against Chelsea because they said, "Oh man, you have at least 25 world-class players internationally"?
No, I think it was very harsh, as Neil touched on. I think it's very harsh. COVID is a serious subject, which unfortunately the whole world is suffering with at the moment in time. If you're putting people's health and well-being at risk, then the game just needs to be postponed. There's more important things that we need to worry about, having Christmas around the corner, everyone coming home to a safe and wonderful environment. So definitely agree with you.
But that wasn't the case with Chelsea, though.
No, it should have just been the Premiership about
well-being, man.
It wasn't about well-being.
The decision shouldn't be Chelsea's to make. Yeah, the Premier League just need to make clear guidelines. Yeah, how many of the playing squad on support staff need to have COVID for a game to be postponed?
Yeah, but I agree and disagree with that. I think the Premier League do need to make it, but at the moment, it's the Premier League teams have to request the postponement due to an outbreak in the area. I mean, look at Spurs have just got absolutely pummeled knocked out of Europe under the basis of having COVID, and not that anyone will care coming out of that terrible cup. But that was unfair, right? You're doing the right thing, and yet you get penalised against it. Chelsea didn't want to play the game, and quite rightly so, because they're missing some players, right? And if you're missing your best players, you still don't want to play the game regardless. Whether they were trying to flout the rules or not, there was no rules to flout, right? Because no one's put them in. And if everyone else is cancelling games, they're like, we've got 7, why can't we? So the Premier League have to come out, or the EFL, anyone needs to come out and say, if you've got more than this percent, then it goes again, and then you stop it.
I agree.
So the question here is that they had 5 out against Everton. They didn't ask to cancel that game, and then they had 7. And unless I'm mistaken, they asked to cancel the game on the day itself.
Yeah, but one of the games was cancelled within 2 hours, Aston Villa versus Burnley, 2 hours before kickoff. So let's not say that they can't do it on special instances. It's got to be a hard and fast rule. Arteta said it the other week. Just give us a rule or we'll follow the rule. Doesn't matter what it is, right? We'll play behind closed doors.
Leicester game got cancelled on the day as well, to be fair. So.
Yeah, but then both teams were happy and okay with that decision. I think Wolves were happy and ready to play. So they probably were like, nah, we'll play. They got a draw.
But that shouldn't be allowed, right? If the other team's happy to play, like a Sunday league game, the game's good. We haven't got enough players, but we're all right. Like, we'll play. Yeah, you just come along, right? I was waiting for a call. Chelsea can't call up any of their players if they've got out on loan to come back and say, you can play for us. COVID restrictions allow you to play for 2 clubs this week. It's just got to be one rule for everyone. I don't care what the rule is. They have to all follow it. And it can't be because the other team said, we're all right. We'll carry on. That's just, again, that's not, they're not caring about anyone's health at that point.
At this point in time, Neil, are you sure you have nothing against Tottenham? Like, I'm beginning to believe it.
Why? I just said they were hard done by in Europe.
Yeah, but you also said they were out in the sun.
Yeah. Well, why not? Where would you want to train?
He hates us.
Would you want to train in North London, or would you want to go abroad and train for a couple of weeks?
It depends what training we do. But we shall see. So now we're moving on to Leeds versus Arsenal. Oh my God, the only game that actually happened on Saturday in the Premier League. And Leeds were out with loads of players, nothing to do with COVID. So now my question is this. At one point, I mean, Bielsa we had a conversation about this manager a couple of episodes ago, where I was asking, is this guy a world-class manager? People say, oh, he changed the system, he's this, he's that. But it turns out that his training seems to be injuring a lot of his players. He would not change his style of play, even if they are conceding how many amount of goals in the game. He has said he's not going to change it. His players are going to continue playing the way he's playing. How much damage does your team have to receive before you actually think, you know what, let me change this? He's not a young manager. He's an experienced guy. So is it a case of eventually this thing will work again, or does he actually need to change something? I'll start with you, Steve. Thanos.
He should change something, given to the key personnel that is missing from his team, so they can actually survive this, how can I say, really bad patch of injuries until they get their main players back. But because he's just got too many main players to maintain the way they play and to be successful at it. They're just getting hurt. So to me, he should change it, but he won't. He'll keep going, and then they'll pick up when the players start coming back.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I agree with Steve. That is. Yeah, no.
1 second, ladies and gentlemen, God have mercy. This is the 40th minute of this show, and for the first time ever, the angry one has made a statement. I agree with Steve. Lord God.
Don't worry, we'll argue about it later on.
We'll ask in a minute, so it's all going to cut out.
But basically, yeah, look, they'll be all right once they get their players back. But the question is, will it be too late by then? I don't know. With regard to him, but at the end of the day, he's got a lot of people down, so you can't really judge. I guess, conversely, you can judge him on his coaching skills, because sometimes good coaches find a way to win regardless. So he's got a really bad squad, but he's still trying to play the same way. So you could argue then perhaps he's not as good a coach as we think, or maybe he's just damn stubborn. I'd probably go with the latter. He's just stubborn, and he believes in his philosophy so much, and he trains them so much that he thinks anybody can play anywhere, like total football like he's Dutch, but he's not. And so that's the problem.
So surely it's a case of him being just stubborn for no reason, Karim. What do you think?
I don't know. Apart from the injuries, I don't know what else is going on down at Leeds. I saw a post on Instagram not long ago saying that do they think it's time for him to move on and get out? But I think that's a bit harsh considering what he has achieved at Leeds so far. I think they should do what Arsenal's doing with Arteta and stick with the process and see him out. Obviously, every manager does have this. Every manager does have this.
No, why are you trying to
has this dip in their club, so yeah, definitely.
What exactly is he trying, Mike?
Yeah, elaborate, bro.
And mug us off. Why are you bringing Arsenal into it? It makes no sense. Leeds and Arsenal are not in the same position.
But
Leeds aren't doing a process. They've already got their playing style set for the last season and a half. More than that, they've been playing that style.
Well, they're on a decline, which you lot was on a decline, and you lot stuck with the process, right?
Look at this guy. Yeah, that's true about the decline.
That's what I mean. That's my only point, bro. That was my only point. Nothing else.
So in the space of 3 minutes, Mike has gone from agreeing to wanting to fight Korean.
Well, this guy's trying it, though, isn't he?
I'm not. I used a great example. Everyone agrees. Everybody in the podcast is agreeing. Everyone's agreeing with my point.
Neil?
Everyone's agreeing.
The logic is all over the gap.
While we get a room for these two, what do you think Leeds' problem is in Bielsa?
Right, gloves are off now. I'm going to start getting nasty.
I mean, it's hard, right? It's Leeds. We don't like Leeds. Bielsa's done a great job there. They had a good season. Like, they overachieved last season, regardless. He has a philosophy that he plays. The players in the squad and the team know exactly what's expected of them and how to play. They're depleted. The quality that's coming in that they've got to take over isn't as good as their first 11 or first 15. They're struggling, but they don't have a plan B in place for them to learn. And the players don't just go out and learn, a plan B overnight. And you can't just say, "Oh, just sit tight and play that." I think he played Phillips at the centre back the other night. And that's just shown that you've got he played quality for England in the Euros, as World Cup, sorry. And then suddenly, so you're long day, Euros, suddenly he's playing a centre back for Leeds. And you're like, that's because he will play anywhere for that club. So they will play for him. Will he turn it around? After Christmas, he's going to get some. But I think if Leeds just stay in the Premier League, right, no one's thinking they're a top 8 team or a top 4 team. Does it matter if they're 17th or 11th there? All right, it's £1 million per position. But I think they're going to be safe. Stay with him. He'll get them back on track. He'll get the players in. But he demands a lot from his players. And when you've got a squad that's so small and then so depleted, they're tired every week and they haven't had the luxury of a couple of week break. So I think, yeah.
They haven't had a luxury like
Shots fired.
But you got to stick with the process like Arteta, right? It's the same type of thing.
Speaking.
But you've all got clubs here that haven't been sticking with processes, right? They've all got managers in, and the merry-go-round goes round too quick. Even the team I support does, right? It's how long do you stick with somebody to hold it out? If Leeds stay with him and when they're in troubled times, I think that shows a bit of class from Leeds. And I think next season they'll be good.
Yeah, a bit of class. 7-0, 3-2, 4-1.
Yeah, but
we've all lost games by 7.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, does it? Like I said, as long as they're 17th and above, who cares?
All right. Mr. Thanos, are you trusting the process in Arteta? It's his style of play and his DNA beginning to shine for the club. And is it a case of upwards and onwards?
Yeah, I think it's working out. It's not going to take us to a side that's competing for the league in the next couple of seasons, not unless we're very, very lucky somehow and have a Leicester moment. But it seems to be heading in the right direction. His players that he's got in seem to be performing for him. I think all the signings that he made in the summer have proven so far this season to be very, very good and good additions to the squad, and they are on an upward trajectory.
Wait, Steve, what's the difference between the Man United game, the Everton game, and then the last 2 games will be West Ham and Leeds. Okay, forget about Leeds because they were depleted.
Southampton.
Southampton, yeah. So those are the same players that we're talking about that we're lauding now for doing well, but they played in those games as well. So
I'm not.
What changed?
They wasn't that far off in the Man United game, to be honest. They wasn't.
Man United were poor, average.
They were 3-2. Arsenal weren't battered by Man United.
But they were average and they still beat us comfortably.
They beat us what comfortably? I don't think they beat us comfortably.
Well, they beat us 3-2 without trying. I call that comfortable. I don't know what you call it.
Determined trying. At the end of the day, yeah, right. The results are going the right way. After the first 3 games of the season, he was bottom of the league with no points.
No. Let's not go that. Let's not go
No. Now they're 4th in the table. Yeah, okay. He's progressed.
Okay, right? But I'm asking you,
and the team,
those 4 games.
The team are performing better. The players he's brought in, they're playing more like a team and not like a team of individuals.
So what happened in? Okay, that's fine, and I agree.
They're not consistent. They're not consistent. Yeah, and I'm not saying that they are. They're not consistent. So there will be ups and downs, especially when they meet the big boys. Yeah, they're not ready for that step up, right? But what they're doing and the way they're playing and the way they're performing, it's definitely on an upward trajectory for him. And he's not shown anything as to why people shouldn't start to believe that he can change the things around and continue going.
Well, it's hard to believe when they're consistent.
I want to ask a question in terms of so the inconsistency here, right? Because as Mike has pointed out, that the same team pretty much played the matches that they lost, and now they've won some games. But taking it out from an Arsenal fan's perspective, if you have Aubameyang that's not playing now because of discipline issues, and you have Lacazette who's playing down the middle now, but he's still not scoring as much. So Karim, looking at Gabriel Martinelli is looking good. Yes, he's managed to stay on the pitch, because he's always been unlucky with injuries, but he's looking good, looking fast. What is this? where did this rule come from that for a young player to get some sort of experience that they have to play them down the side first before they can eventually go through the middle? Where did that rule come from? And how long does Martinelli have to wait before he becomes top 9? Karim, what do you think?
I don't think that should even be a point, really. I feel like Martinelli's doing really well in an Arsenal top. I think he's playing outstanding for Arsenal at the moment. And I believe he's good enough to replace Lacazette, even Aubameyang at this point at the moment in time. I think I saw something that this could be Lacazette's last season within Arsenal, so it would only be fair to start getting Martinelli in for more games. And as you mentioned, Aubameyang is out for disciplinary reasons, dropped the captaincy. I can see him going to Barcelona in January. So
Let's
yeah,
hope so.
why not?
And
also, just before, I know you're probably going to kick me for saying this. What is Arsenal's objectives for the season? Because I think I hear a lot of Arsenal saying that they don't want to. They feel like he's underachieving. That Arteta's not doing this. Arteta out. But what are their goals at the end of the season? Is it top 6, top 4? What are their objectives?
Europe.
So Europe is Conference, Europa, and Champions League. Which one?
Europe. It's a big continent.
If they don't get, it's like they either aim for, I would say, Europa or Champions League. You don't want that Conference League nonsense. It doesn't benefit your club at all, in my view.
Can I also say, by the way,
he's overachieving at the moment.
And on the Martinelli point, I just think Martinelli needs to be managed carefully. He's a good player, but he needs to learn some, how can I say, gears to his game. He's always full on. But
why can't he do it in the centre?
Say again?
Why can't he do that? Well, why does he have to learn gears on the side?
But there has been a pattern where players like Henry and stuff have always started off down the wings. And they use that kind of model to them to develop their game out on the wings and then push them into the centre. They don't normally start.
Let me ask this.
Some of them don't start. Not everyone starts up the centre and plays down the centre.
I don't think you know what, the way that we're playing at the moment, sorry, Julian, I was going to say, the way that he's set up when he's got Lacazette coming deep, force 9 in, if he continues with that style of play and buys another play in that mode, then I don't think you're going to see Martinelli go for the centre. He'll be more like a Mane and a Salah and coming in, because basically Lacazette vacates the space and then he pops in for makes the runs behind. So then in that case, why play him for the middle? It's just
the question, I can understand if that's a tactic. So it makes sense. Lacazette, everybody knows in terms of he's ready to wrestle with the defenders and hold the ball late off for people. So if that's a style of play, is understandable. But the reason I actually asked the question is, and I like that you brought in Henry. Henry was obviously actually started as a winger initially, but then when you see the way he plays and they realize that this guy has a lot of goals, he could go through the left, he could go through the middle. But certain players, for example, Man United, the same thing. Oh, Greenwood eventually is going to be a top 9. Yeah, but let's play him to get some experience on the wing. Martinelli, eventually is going to be a top 9. Let's play him on the left to be. I've never understood, because when you look at in the old days, we look at Lukaku, this guy isn't still on the left. When you look at main strikers,
he did it at Everton. He played the left a few times for Everton.
I mean, he would take the ball from the left, but he was still a striker.
All the players you've mentioned, bar Lukaku, has all got pace. So I can understand the whole philosophy of Henry, Martinelli, Mane, Salah. They've all got pace, so they could be used to be wingers.
And there's a lot of pressure playing in the middle because your only output is goals, barring Firmino and Lacazette.
Okay, so to put the question another way, if you want the man to be a top 9, why is he not learning to trade in the position that you want him to learn? Why does he have to go to the wing first?
Too much pressure, because you play Martinelli or anybody, Greenwood, whoever, you play him up front, 9 games or so, 10 games, he's not scoring. He's rubbish. Get him out. He can't do nothing. He plays in the wing, doesn't score much, but he does a few good patterns of play. Then he can blossom under the radar almost, because he's not expected to score as many goals. If you put him in that number 9 position, every team expects him to be getting be top goal scorer, scoring the 10, 15, whatever, 20, whatever your team can do. It's too much. Unless they're born to play that role right now, they're good to go, ready made. That's different. But if they're not, then you still get the minutes on the pitch, utilize their skills, but they're a little bit out of the limelight. That's the only thing I can think of, other than, like you say, learning their trade.
Well, here's another question. I'll start with you, Neil. Once again, before we go to Mike and Thanos to have a Arsenal perspective. ESR versus Odegaard. Because I like the conversation that's going around, and people are saying, I personally think ESR should start every game. I've said that I keep giving boys stick, constant energy. That is probably one of the other Arsenal players that you could peel his eyes to the defense, and even if he gets the ball, he will still turn. He's always looking forward. But Odegaard started the last couple of games, I think, and in that number 10 position is where the ESR are playing. But what do you think? Who would you start, Odegaard or ESR, Neil?
I mean, I didn't come in on the other points that were made, but there was a few things in there that Arsenal are trying to do with regards to formations and how they're getting people involved and how they're playing. Arteta's, don't forget, has been working under Pep. So if he hasn't learned anything from him, I mean, which would be a far stretch, Pep only said good things about him when he left, right? He literally said that he'll be a manager one day. He'll be great. And everyone that's worked under Arteta knows how much he's studied the game from start to finish. So Martinelli not playing forward, I don't think makes any difference, because the way that Pep wants to play isn't with the boring Lukaku or the boring Ronaldo, that number 9 talisman. It's not needed anymore, right? Man City has shown you that you don't need that. Brazil don't play with that. If you want to play with that, that's fine, but you need to put someone up the top there with someone with no pace. I think that's, Liverpool have shown again as well that number 9 isn't needed. Martinelli is working for the team, right? He's grafting. He wants to play. I think that's key, regardless if he's playing up top or up bloody left back. Like, the guy just wants to play football like Saka. He will play wherever he wants to play. He'll earn the respect of the fans and he'll do it the hard way. And I think Arteta should be applauded for that, of getting the best out of their players to that. Should ESR play every game? I mean, everybody wants him to play every game. He's English, right? We want to see him working it. We want
every game as number 10 ahead of Odegaard.
For me, I don't care if he's playing it as a 10 or comes on as a sub, right? When he comes on, he's exciting. But why play him every game? He doesn't need to play every game. That game against West Ham, like, West Ham were nothing. And again, it was a good grind out of a result, but West Ham were damn poor. The midfield was non-existent in that game. And so he wasn't needed. And that's down to good management of saying, you know what, we don't need. Fred's made a career almost this season, which is like anyone would have thought Fred would have had a career, right? So it's down to good management. And you can't just say he should be playing this. Like, look at Lacazette. The guy's playing for the team. He doesn't care if he's scoring. He's drawing defenders away. He's running for night. The guy looked like he was dead on his feet. He will get a contract, and I think he will stay. I think he deserves another good run out, because he is helping that team out absolutely no end at the moment. He's doing everything that everybody wanted Aubameyang to do. Like, great, he had the pace, but everyone knew it was going to go at some point. But now Lacazette's coming in and going, right, guys, this is what we want to do. I want to G everybody up. I want to make sure that where I'm playing, and they sacrifice themselves for the team. And that's what's different about Arsenal now, is regardless if they win or lose, most of them are in there to sacrifice whatever they're doing for the greater good of the team. And that's good football. And that's what we like to see.
So I have two things to say. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first here on Grassroots Chats. Neil has an inside. Lacazette will pay. He will sign the contract. Neil has an inside man. And I mean, at this point, I would like Karim, Steve, Thanos, the angry one. And I've never seen a Sheffield Wednesday fan so passionate about Arsenal. So at this point, I'd like a round of applause for Neil's wife again, because that script seems to be working really well.
Thank you, Mrs. Hinder. Thank you very much.
There was a really good documentary on Pep Guardiola he did, and he got interviewed about his style of football and how he likes to play football. Because you mentioned Henry, right, playing through the top in a talisman for Arsenal, which was great. But what happened when he went to Barcelona? He went out back wide again, right? Pogba used to play wide for Juve, then comes back in and plays centre. Some players just play better when they play for the team and they have a position to be told what to do. And that is nothing wrong with that. That's down to good management, getting the best out of everyone.
Nothing wrong with that, I agree. Nothing wrong with that, I agree. But Henry, in terms of Barcelona, there was no way he's going to play the middle. The only striker that has managed in the last couple of years to play down the middle when Messi was there was Suarez. And that was because they had a good interchange between Neymar, Suarez, and Messi.
Samuel Eto'o held his position there when Henry was there.
Who?
Samuel Eto'o. Outstanding.
Eto'o was forced wide. That's one of the reasons he left.
No.
Yes.
It was Henry on the left, Eto'o in the centre, and then
and Eto'o
and Messi on the right.
Eto'o didn't play more than how long with Henry? He wasn't there at the same time.
Right, back to ESR anyway.
Yeah.
It's not
but back to the question though, Mike. ESR.
Subjects because I'm left for you guys. I understand, Mike. Don't worry.
So I think, the problem is for ESR is because he can play multiple positions well, and Odegaard really is only really effective as a 10. He gets pushed left, right, and centre because you can get away with playing them both, but you can only play them both if Odegaard plays 10. And at the moment, ESR will come on out of nowhere, play left or right, and still score. He's still effective regardless.
Your highest goal scorer, 7 goals.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's kind of he's almost too good in a way, if that makes sense. Odegaard also, I feel like Odegaard is kind of Tep's little fanboy, because when we bought him, I thought, do we really need him though? If we've got ESR, I don't understand why we're buying Odegaard when we've got ESR, and ESR just signed a contract for the number 10 role. Then we go and get Odegaard, which didn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm not complaining now because he's scoring, but when you look at that, you think maybe whatever reason, Arteta prefers Odegaard in the 10. So, and because ESR can play elsewhere and still has an impact, even if he gets limited minutes, he kind of gets the short stick.
All right. Thanos, what do you think?
2 different players.
Yeah,
Odegaard is more of a finesse player. He will put through those passes, where ESR is more of a pick up the ball and carry and drive.
So who starts?
So say again.
Who starts at those 2? Who would you have starting most of your games?
Depends on I'm playing. The only reason Odegaard is ESR got injured, and then Odegaard came in, and that's how ESR is slowly coming back in.
Okay, well, who's your starting 11?
There's no need to change it because you're winning.
Okay, forget that stuff. But if you had a starting 11, start next season, we don't buy anybody. Who's in your starting 11? Who's your starting number 10? You
can depends on who I'm playing. If it's someone that needs, if it's someone that's sitting back and I need to unlock the defense, I'll probably go with Odegaard. If it's someone where I'm looking for the team to carry the ball and drive at the team, I'll go VSR.
So big games.
Some games you can play both. Some games you can go either or either.
So big games it's going to be ESR then, because in big games. So in big games it's going to be ESR because big teams don't park the bus.
ESR can work backwards and will run backwards, but sometimes I look at the game and Odegaard has more game management or game maturity about.
Your answer is you play both. It depends. No, Mike. His answer is it depends on who he's playing.
Yes, but I said it depends.
All right. Anyways. Well, we everybody has chosen who to feel. Neil is all about sacrifice, and we'd like to thank Mrs. Hinder once again. So moving forward, those are the games. Christmas is coming, so there'll be no games till Boxing Day, which is Sunday the 26th. And then we have some nice juicy fixtures, hopefully with them actually going forward. And we have Liverpool Leeds, 12:30 kickoff. I think this is just Leeds have just gone through a good stuff in Chelsea, Mancity, Arsenal, and now Liverpool. So quick things, Karim, what are you saying for that game?
Liverpool.
I like how you had to think like, this is. And what are the scores?
Comfortable one for Liverpool, 3-0.
Okay, Mike.
It's going to be a massacre, isn't it? It's going to be 5 or 6. It's going to be a bloodbath, mate. To be honest.
Right. Yeah, but then again, you could say since both of them like that high energy, and if they have those players back, you never know. But you're going Liverpool, yes?
Yeah, they're going to rule them big time.
Neil?
Yeah, I think Liverpool, but I don't think it will be a high number. They'll just sit back in ball control for 89 minutes after scoring 6 in the first minute.
Mr. Thanos?
It'll be a Liverpool win, but I think it'll be something like 4-2 or 5-3 or something like that. I think Leeds will get a couple. Looking at the way Liverpool played, if Liverpool ain't got a couple of their talismans back, like Van Dijk, Henderson, Thiago, they will concede a couple.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, the big shout out to Morton that played for Liverpool in the middle. Young kid. I think he played well personally. I think he held his own. I mean, at least we've seen young players come in. We're still waiting for the arrival of Troy Parrott and David Scarlett. We're still waiting. We're waiting for them. So another juicy game is Man City Leicester on the day. Leicester have had some good rest. Will this be enough to get something out of the game against City? Karim?
Yeah, I believe so. I think Leicester's going to win comfortably again, 2-1.
Leicester's going to win at the Etihad 2-1.
Yeah, I think Leicester's going to win.
Yeah. It's hot where you are. Take that jacket off.
No, I honestly think Leicester's going to be up for it this week.
Okay, cool. Mr. Thanos?
City win. Probably 3-1 or something like that.
Neil?
Yeah, City would. That'll probably be 5. It's gonna be bad.
Okay, we shall see.
Sterling started playing really well recently,
Yeah.
which is nice to see because he's been a bit of obscurity for a little bit for City, but he's come back in the fold and he's been playing well. Like he'll bag a couple.
Angry one, you agree?
Yeah, City are going to turn him over.
And then one of the very tough fixtures of the Boxing Day is Norwich versus Arsenal. Very tough. What do you think, Mrs. Hinder? Sorry, Neil.
Where's it at?
It's a Norwich ground.
Oh, is it? So it's at Carrow Road. I mean, that's a hard ground to go to, isn't it, JJ? And get any performance out of. You know that, don't you? I don't know if there's any penalty takers for Arsenal. That's the problem, right? Yeah, no, Arsenal will turn them over. Those young boys are up for that game. That'll probably be 3 or 4 now.
Yeah, Karim?
Yeah, Arsenal win. Comfortable again, probably 3 or 4.
Say it with your chest, man. Come on. No. Mumbling like you eating chewing gum. Say it with your chest, man. Come on. How fun dare you?
Mike, what do you think?
Arsenal win that game, but I don't think it'll be comfortable. I think it'll be some rocky patches, but we'll ride it through.
Mr. Thanos?
2-0.
2-0, okay. Mr. Thanos?
Arsenal win.
Okay. And Vieira having never lost a game against Tottenham. Tottenham play Crystal Palace at the Lane. Karim?
It's going to be a very big fixture. Crystal Palace are always up for it when they come to White Hart Lane.
It's a London derby, mate. Yeah.
It's a London derby. It is a London derby. So what I will say is I think Tottenham are going to get some sort of revenge from them beating us earlier in the season. So yeah, I'll say a Tottenham win, probably 3-1, 3-2. We will concede, unfortunately.
Okay. And Mike, what do you think about that game?
Vieira. It's going to be a Crystal Palace double on the Spurs boys. They can't have it.
And Tottenham's greatest fan, Neil, what do you think?
Game postponed.
I'm not. I mean, it's going to be postponed, right? Like, they're still in Dubai. I think Spurs are going to win, but Vieira's done wonders at Palace. He's continued and improved from Hodgson. But yes, I mean, Spurs have got to be scared. Conte is an animal. And, you know, if you're not fired up to play for Conte, then, you know, you don't deserve to be wearing that shirt anyway. So, yeah, I think Spurs boys, they want to transfer out then in a week's time. So it's a good place to get in the transfer window, right?
Oh, good. And Mr. Thomas?
Draw or Palace win?
Ooh, Mr. T.
Palace are not intimidated. They showed that when they went to the Etihad and got the points. So they'll go to... I can see them outworking Tottenham and getting a draw and possibly a win.
All right. And of course, Steven Gerrard is hosting the Chelsea. Chelsea have drifted away from the title contention a bit. draws here and there, or not finishing off games. Do you see Gerrard continuing his fine form? Neil?
But Villa,
Yep.
no, not against Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea might get left behind by Man City, right? But and Liverpool, but these are two top world class teams at the moment. But Villa, they did well getting him in and letting Dean Smith bugger off to Norwich. But yeah, man, they've got no chance. It's not even a close game.
Mike?
Like Neil makes a compelling argument there, but I think it'd be a draw, because Chelsea are a bit sixes and sevens, as they say. So you don't know. They still got a depleted squad, etc. Playing if they play the way they've been playing recently, that could well be a draw. To be honest, I'll go draw. I'll go draw.
Karim?
Oh, sorry. I can definitely. I thought you said Mr. Tanner. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. Chelsea win.
Mr. Thanos?
Draw. I think Chelsea's managers, how can I say, uncertainty starting to filter down to the players.
You can come to Arsenal for once.
And their performances started to show. So I just think that Gerrard has got Villa going in the right direction. They'll be up for it. So I think it'll be a draw.
Have I missed the plight of Chelsea skipping into the bottom half of the league? They've lost two games this season, right? Everyone's talking about, they're no good. The 2 games they've lost, they're only 6 points behind City.
No.
18 days.
It's just what's coming out of them at the moment now that they're not full strength. And he loves to change players and stuff, and he can't do that at the moment. So I just think if you listen to his interviews and stuff, there's some frustrations there of being in the Premier League from Tuchel, and it just sounds like it's filtering down to their performances, where they will go a couple of months ago and be confidently shutting teams out, beating teams. They just don't have that confidence to be that dominant performance.
Well, I don't know, because there's a game they played the other day. They should have scored 6 or 7, but they're just missing. Yeah, like James should have had a hat-trick. So, I mean, I don't know if that's confidence issue. They just missed this bad game, but they played well enough. They just weren't finishing.
Well, I think they just, at this point in time, they just run out of that extra luck. Anyway, people, let's round this up with your flop and player of the last couple of games. And I'll start with you, Karim.
Flop of the week is going to have to go to Leeds Football Club.
Wow. Damn. Why?
Just for getting battered. And I gave him flop of the week a couple of weeks ago, but he's turned it around. He's finally on the score sheet. It's the boy.
Don't.
It's the boy. It's the boy.
Don't embarrass yourself, man. Don't embarrass
Harry Kane.
Mute him.
All right.
It's the boy, Harry Kane.
Mike?
How can you be flop of the week is whoever the ref was at the Tottenham Liverpool game.
Tierney.
Terrible, shocking, appalling. In other words that sound the same like that. Player of the week though, my boy, an actual boy, Martinelli. Man's banging goals. That's a player of the week. Yeah.
All right, Neil.
Flop of the week has to go for Kieran Clark, right, for Newcastle. I have no idea what he was doing. Like, we haven't even talked about it, but that defending, man, when that ball bounced between the two.
Remember what I said a couple episodes ago, yeah? Championship defenders.
I mean, that's he'll be playing with Dele Alli if he ain't careful. Martinelli has to be the player of the week. He's done really, really well and had a good week.
Mr. Thanos.
Referees and Kieran Clark for flop of the week. Cancelo, player of the week. The guy just impresses. That's it. No, don't need to say anything else.
Well, flop of the week, Bielsa. for me, not just Leeds. I mean, you're responsible. You shouldn't be that stubborn that you can't. You look at your players and go, "I don't think we can do this," and tweak it. And being so stubborn to just making your team take a lot of slaughtering. And my player of the week. I don't know, Karim, why are you smiling?
You're gonna say Harry Kane. I know you're.
No way.
My player of the week is
Fred, what a great game he had last
he
week.
didn't even play.
He didn't lose. It was a great game.
That game was played. No goals conceded, no passes misplaced. What a top player. 10 out of 10.
My player of the week is because he probably went unnoticed, and I don't understand. It's one of them positions that people always don't notice them. Is Harry Winks. I think he had a very stable game, considering the fact that he hadn't played in a while. He held the midfield really well, and considering the fact that he came in for his likes of Skip Hall, I think he had an outstanding game. I mean, Cancelo was good and everybody else, but I think Harry Winks was quite. And the man his shirt is always staying in. Well dressed guy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the one.
That's playing well. Surely his shirt should be out. He should be disheveled at the end of the game. He should be battling all the way through the midfield.
Clearly, I can tell you're a goalkeeper. I can tell.
Obviously, and then look at the quality here is.
I can tell you're a goalkeeper. But anyways, people, we've come to the end of this episode. Please watch, subscribe, and hit that like button. And of course, keep your comments in the wonderful post. It's good night from the angry one. I'm sure he's going to miss Karim, Neil, and of course, Mr. Thanos. That's good night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you soon.
Stay safe, people.
Yeah.